Showtime. We're live. Thank you for joining us on another edition of the Red Pill Diary. And I'm back with my co host from time to time, former CIA analyst, Larry. How is it going today, Larry?
I'm back. The ultimate has been.
Larry, it seems like everything that could go wrong is going wrong for Trump and the American empire. I was reading an article by, I think it was Reuters, when they were saying that the United States tungsten supply is down because of the missiles fired. And, they need tungsten inside of the missiles. China put a restrictions on tungstens and rare earths also. And then I was reading an article on Axios where Max Mattis said that he was delivering a harsh statement and assessment on the Iranian war, and there was an article on I forget what is it I forget Forbes. I'm not, could it be Forbes? Well, anyway, they were talking about the United States is insolvent financially. So
Hmm.
if all of those things are building up, how can America continue to prosecute and persecute this war by deploying more troops over there and weapons? It costs money. It,
Yeah.
it costs time.
Hey, we got mom and dad's credit card. We're just going to keep running up the bill and hope they pay it. I mean, that is that our deficit spending is just out of control. So, $39 trillion now, up from 30. When Trump took office, I think it was like 36.5, 37 trillion. So he's added $2 trillion in less than a year and a half to 150 or higher. Then it may still. I think it's still going to go up to that level, and then at that point, the economy's toast. In fact, it's already toast. We just, we're at that chicken without a head stage. When you initially cut the head off the chicken, it's still running around thinking, "God, I can't see too well, but I'm still moving."
Yeah. My grandfather used to do that in the yard. He would grab the chicken, wring his neck, and the chicken would run around in the yard and stuff like that. Then he
Yeah,
cut it off, and my grandmother would prepare it.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and it seems like that's what the United States is doing. And what is crazy about it, Larry, the more you think about it, the more unsound it is. So how do they not see it? These are supposed to be the paid professionals and analysts and advisors who are from the most prestigious colleges and universities and stuff, and they can't see that every step they take is a misstep.
It's called arrogance. When I teach, firearms to tell Israel, no more. We're not giving you another dime.
I want to bring something to your attention that I just read right before the show, um, and it's on Press TV. And I said about time because I saw this article where the IRGC said, and I'm seeing it says Israeli shelters are legitimate targets if Iran's residential areas are attacked from now on.
Yeah,
So we know that the U.S. and Iran, I mean, and Israel have been targeting civilian infrastructure. Now the IRGC is saying, now if this continues, there won't just be a toll on our side. There'll be a toll on your side also. What do you have to say about that, Larry?
yeah. No, Iran's been very clear. They've got a basic doctrine of eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, but it's also selectively applied. Their desalinization plant was hit the last week, 2 weeks ago, but instead of retaliating, they didn't because they recognized it would cause great harm to the populations of the Gulf countries. So for now, they've held off on doing that. Um, so they've been careful in how they respond. They've had schools and hospitals hit by Israel, but they've not turned around and gone after schools and hospitals in Israel. Iran really operates according to a higher ethical and spiritual standard.
Everybody, please hit the like button. We have a few more minutes with Larry. Hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, think about subscribing. Larry, now we're talking about the deployment of U.S. troops to the region for, I guess, for to try to seize the islands. We've heard that Ansar Allah said that if something like this take place, they were going to shut down the Red Sea. So now you'll have Iran hidden as far as the Indian Ocean, the Gulf of Oman, the Arabian Gulf, the Strait of Hormuz. You'll have the Red Sea. This will shut down shipping lanes and cause a economic crisis globally, because not only are we talking about oil and gas, but we're talking about fertilizer. And most of those Gulf nations also import 80 and 90% of their food. So now we're talking about a humanitarian catastrophe on top of all of that. How do you think that the West cares? Because it seems like any sane or rational people would have put this in their military planning, would have gained this scenario.
That decided that it was going to financialize everything. What I mean by that is that
It's going to go up dramatically.
Will that push? Oh, that's what it was. Will that push riots or protests in across the United States against the government?
It might, but Americans so far, they're just ignorant of it. Media's giving them the mushroom treatment. Cover them with manure and keep them in the dark.
I like that, Larry.
Yeah.
Thank you, Larry, for joining me. I know you're busy, and you fit me in your schedule again today, man. I really, really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
I always got time for you, Mohammed. You need only ask.
I appreciate it.
I'll start singing James Taylor's "You Got a Friend."
Larry is off the chain. You guys, sometimes behind closed doors, before we get on the air, Larry will have me dying laughing about certain things. And Larry also gives me some information, because he was the one who called the situation. I'm almost, Larry, I mean, you had it to like a 2-week span of what you thought was going to happen, and it happened like that. So yeah. I appreciate that from behind closed doors. Thank you so much, Larry. I'll send you the video in a few minutes.
All right, brother. Later. Bye.
All right, bye-bye. Everybody, listen, I want you to hit the like button. Think about subscribing. We don't have to agree on everything, but let's be agreeable to disagree. We are adults. Join us back here at 7:30. I think we'll have, from Canada Live, Professor Salim Mansour on the show. I told you we're giving you a triple header. We just did one with European journalist and analyst Everest Bartolo, today. So we're giving you that, and tomorrow we'll have another guest on, and Friday we'll have a guest on, and I got some surprises for you guys coming up again. And this week we're going to have a channel member stream and a Patreon stream, and Patreon article will be dropping this week too. Thank you so much for joining me on the most powerful platform for truth on God's green earth. As I often say, do right by others, not because there's some material gain to be had or some accolades to have. Do right by others because it's the right, the humane, and the godly thing to do. Because even when no one else is watching you, remember that God Almighty is watching you. As my late, great, and beautiful mother would always say, God sits high on the throne of power, but he looks low at the actions of man. Know that I love each and every one of you who loves truth, but know that the love that I have for you will always pale in comparison to the love that God has for you. Until we next speak again, stay strong, stay true, but above all things, remember to stay righteous, because righteousness is the only thing that's going to get you out of here. Hey, mama, your baby boy loves you more than life. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. Deuces. We are now out.